Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of this Frisco Report Special Edition, Sunday edition. This is Sirius. Got more time, everybody. All right, so Mike, special Sunday edition of Frisco Report. What's going on, man?
What's up, Joe? What's up? What's up? Let's dive into this.
Yeah, so we got, the 53 man came out yesterday, kind of broke that down, and today the practice squad has been, looks like it's pretty close to being done. By my count, I think we have one spot left, but I could be wrong. But let's take a look at the list. Appreciate everybody that's joining live. Everybody in the chat box. Appreciate all you guys. We'll get through this conversation here, and then we'll start going over the questions and comments. So let's take a look at this. All right, Mike. Let's break down this practice squad. Excuse me. All right, guys. So we're looking at this practice squad here that just came out. Let me maximize this, Mike. So we got Rondell Carter, Justin Hamilton, Marcus Henry, the center, Luther Kirk, the safety, Francis Bernard, everybody's fan favorite here towards the end. He made it back through waivers. We got him back. Okay, Ladarius Hamilton, defensive end / linebacker, Shewo. Ola Nalua, fullback. Chris Westry, the cornerback, 6'4", that kind of thing. Savion Smith, cornerback / safety. Deontay Burton, cornerback. Brandon Carr, okay, and we'll get into that conversation here as well. Cornerback / safety. Cole Hikatini, tight end. Aaron Parker, the wide receiver. John Vay Johnson, wide receiver. Eric Smith, offensive guard, offensive tackle. We got off the Giants waivers, and Isaac Alarcon. So the 17th bonus spot. But by my count, though, I have 16. So, Mike, do you have 16 and 17? What number do you have right now?
I have 15 because Isaac doesn't count against the practice squad number. So essentially, there's 2 open spots still because Isaac will not count against one.
So Isaac is the bonus 17. So he's really like an asterisk 17. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we got one spot open. That'll take it to 16. And 17 is Isaac on the NFL International program. Okay, so
right.
We do have the one spot open. Let's see who it comes down to, guys. But Mike, your first thought on the practice squad? Just go ahead and lay it out to us. What's your first practice squad, guys? Here.
I like it because if something was to happen, right, you still got Brandon Carr in your back pocket. You got a fullback right there in your back pocket. Linebacker depth. I think they only got really 3 healthy linebackers: Joe Thomas, Leighton Vander Esch, and Jalen Smith. So you got some Francis Bernard in your back pocket. He's the only linebacker on the practice squad. So Francis Bernard could make a quick transition into this 53-man roster for, if something was to happen due to injury or COVID or something like that. That's one thing, Joe, that we still have to have in the back of our minds is that COVID illness can strike at any given moment, right? So for Francis Bernard to be that only linebacker, maybe they'll bring in another one, but that's huge there. That's my initial thought right there.
Yeah, it's an interesting deal here. So the Cowboys did make another move. They signed a wide receiver that the Green Bay Packers cut, and to make that move, they had to release Joe Thomas. So Joe Thomas doesn't have to go through the waiver wire. He could sign somewhere else if he wanted to, but he doesn't have to go through the waiver wire. So he can turn around and re-sign with the Cowboys. So he should be back on the roster here already. But yeah, they did have to make that move. Brandon Carr, Mike, let's talk about this. So Brandon Carr, the conversation was they were going to bring him in here, and looking at him as a cornerback / safety, but he's on the practice squad. What's your thoughts on Brandon Carr here, Mike?
Hey, former Chief, former Cowboy, former Raven, back now with the Cowboys, and so super surprised they went this route. Honestly, I mean, the guy has 192 games and 192 starts under his belt. The guy's never missed a game in his entire career. So, there's some assurance there for sure. But I was super surprised that they did this. Super surprised. What about you?
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit of a surprise because of just how old he is, and he was a former player of the Cowboys. So, but I do like the move. I think it's a good move. You got some veteran leadership there, and coming in here with the different coaching staff. If he were to get on the field and we need to call up his number, I think he'll give us some good solid snaps here in the NFL. He's a professional. And he's done really well wherever he's played at. Pretty durable player. Doesn't miss a lot of time at all. So if we get dinged up, whether it's injury or a COVID IR, we do have him in the back pocket. So I think it's a very smart, shrewd move. Not paying much at all for him, and gives you some solid vet leadership there, Mike. So I do like that move. It's a surprise, but I do love the move there of Brandon Carr. I know everybody wants to go back and look back at his first stop here with the Cowboys wasn't good, but I'm still saying it was coaching and that kind of thing, because when he left here, he was still able to play at a high level and was able to make some interceptions. So
he got 4 the first year with the Ravens, so pretty interesting.
Yeah, interesting indeed. Mike, as far as wide receivers, they kept Aaron Parker on Jon'Vea Johnson. Jon'Vea Johnson. This will basically be his third year on the practice squad. Last year, this year, or is it his second year? I know he's been on here for a couple of years now. So,
well, he was on IR last year, I thought.
Yeah, so he's on here. Aaron Parker, up and coming. I'm glad he made it through the waiver wires.
Yeah.
Let me see. Shaywell, the fullback. The conversation there was, were we going to carry a fullback or not? Now we're finding out that they're going to basically use the tight ends in that capacity, but they liked him enough to bring him back to the practice squad, Mike, and develop him some more.
Yeah, because I think this was brought up a couple of shows back where will they go fullback? And I think you brought up the point where Blake Bell is that fullback guy, right? And so that's kind of that's what he did at the Chiefs. Mike McCarthy preaches he's going to put the players in the best spots to be successful. And we know Blake Bell can go play fullback. He can catch the ball. He can block. So, there's our answer.
Yeah. Big time. So it's good there. They did bring on Cole Hicatini. He's got some he's been in the league here a couple years now. The other guys, I think you just bring them along because they know the program. Chris Westry, the speedster, the lanky cornerback. He made his way back. Savion Smith, Deion Burton. These guys, I think they're just brought back. They're familiar with the program, Mike, but they don't really do anything for me. What's your thoughts on those guys?
Well, we got Dalton Schultz. How's he going to develop and stuff? And practice squad's there, to help develop. And I mean, Eric Smith, the offensive tackle that we got from the Giants, that's a prime example, right? You can develop him to be that swing, not necessarily a starter, but if something happens to go, with them, Eric Smith could be that swing guy for emergency purposes, maybe later on down the year or potentially even next year. So it's all about depth, assurance. I mean, these guys can't go in there. Maybe Brandon Carr, but they won't be able to go and just say, "All right, go start for me." There's some type of development that goes into this. And I mean, a lot of these guys, with the exception of Brandon Carr, is 1 to 2 year guys, if not rookies.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's really what the practice squad is all about, developing. Now, you do have the opportunity to elevate 2 players per week per the new practice squad rule. So, if you do catch yourself in a little bit of a bind, you can elevate to the regular squad, and you don't have to, subjugate them through the waiver wire. So they can go on, and then they can go back on. So I do like that. I do like that a lot. The other new thing that is going on here with the practice squad rules, every Tuesday you can protect 4 players from your practice squad. So, you can protect 4 guys that you do not want other teams to take off of your practice squad. And it'll be interesting to see how that little storyline plays itself out. Like who will be the 4? You know what I mean? To me, if Francis Bernard is not getting elevated to the regular 53, 55 squad, he would be one of the guys I would definitely hope these guys protect, every week. So we'll see, man.
Yeah, those 2 lock players. I mean, offense is pretty set. I mean, you got to protect yourself with that offensive line. But I mean, the 2 I would call up is Francis Bernard and Brendan Carr. Obviously linebacker depth. I don't know how they're going to address this. We got the Rams coming up in a week, and so that linebacker depth is scaring me. But maybe there will be some transitions going on still. Nothing's finalized. Nothing will ever be finalized on an NFL roster. It just takes time to get all that developed, Joe. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how many more transactions go through to get that linebacker depth up to beat.
Yeah, no doubt. The linebacker, it's getting a little goofy. You know what I mean? Like they released Joe Thomas just to get the other wide receiver in here, Malik Turner, he's a special teamer guy. So that's kind of how he's been utilized at other spots. I'm guessing he's gonna probably take over for Ventel Bryant if he gets the IR treatment. So we're coming into this game a little banged up already. So I don't know. It's I'm not saying that I'm worried about it, but as far as like you can't get hurt during the game, or you're gonna be in a little bit of a pickle, as I say.
Yeah, you're gonna be running definitely a lot of dime for sure. if a linebacker goes down, there's gonna be a lot of corners on the field at once, and that's gonna hurt you in the run game.
Yeah, and looking at the practice squad, that is a common thing here with the Cowboys. They went pretty deep at the defensive back. Brandon Carr, Deontay Burton, Savion Smith, Westry, and Luther Kirk. So pretty big chunk of your practice squad has been dedicated to that secondary. So that's a bit interesting to me. One tight end here, they decided to see if they can develop Cole a little bit more. And we got McEwen on the 53, who was a bit of a surprise, Mike. We didn't really get to talk too much yesterday. Any surprises on that 53 that really surprised you yesterday?
Not really. I wouldn't say surprised. I mean, we kind of, talked about how everything would happen. And I think Clinton-Dix was cut after our last show on Tuesday. And that was one of my bubble players. Devin Smith was another one of my bubble players. And, the chat kind of got on to me saying, Clinton-Dix is going to start. And, I kind of backtracked to that, to the point of, well, Xavier Woods is still hurt. That's what probably saved Clinton-Dix. And the guy still got released. And then Devin Smith, with Cedric Wilson and these other guys, Noah Brown finding their feet finally. Devin Smith was one of my wide receiver bubble players. So, I mean, it kind of played out. But what's surprising that right now they got 7 wide receivers on the roster. So that's pretty surprising to me.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going pretty deep there. So I think we'll probably find out a little bit later today as far as who else might get that IR treatment. We already heard Sean Lee's definitely one of them.
Well, Lyle Collins, Ventel Bryant, and Lyle Collins officially went there, according to Dallas Cowboys Public Relations 21 seconds ago.
That's what it is. It's this roster will continue to be fluid. The guys that we have on here right now, it could change even tomorrow, even the day before. Leading up to the game. So I wouldn't say any moves are done by any means. The Cowboys are staying active. No further news on the Earl Thomas discussion. So we don't know if that's just never going to manifest. Have you heard anything lately on that, Mike? I haven't seen anything today on it.
I haven't. And, with Brandon Carr being to the practice squad, right, and not the actual 53-man roster, they might actually feel comfortable with what they got, and might not pursue a guy like Earl Thomas, who got cut for detrimental to the team. That's what we got to remember.
Yeah, that's a great thing to look at, and the thing is, it's not just the Cowboys that haven't signed him. Nobody else has signed him yet. Even through all these waivers and everything that's happening, nobody else has signed him. So,
And then real
yeah,
quick, because I know the chat's asking about Jordan Lewis a lot. So IR is a bit different, right? So they can be activated after 3 weeks of being on the new IR thing. So the Cowboys are probably thinking Jordan Lewis can probably get healthier before 3 weeks to get him early. So he's on the 53. You might be a lot healthier before 3 weeks. You don't want to stash a guy, for 3 weeks if you can use them. So that's what I'm thinking, Joe. Could I be wrong there?
for Jordan Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mini. They're calling it like a mini IR, which would be 3 weeks. So these couple guys that are getting on there, 3 weeks minimum. Now, for somebody like Sean Lee, it actually could go longer. That's just the
Sports
earliest that they
hernia.
can come back. Yeah, sports hernia. So typically with that, I would think that they're going to do a laser surgery to fix that. And I don't know if that's something that you can just let it rest and it'll get better. If that's the route they're going to go, no doubt he'll re-aggravate that. That's going to require surgery, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens there with the sports hernia with Sean Lee. But man, not looking good as far as Sean Lee for his final year here with the Cowboys. Already beat up with the hernia, which is unfortunate because he can contribute. But that's the thing, when you're not on the field, you're not helping the team. So we'll see where they go. They brought back Justin March as well. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, They brought back Joe Thomas, C.J. Goodwin, and Justin March to fill in the 3 IRs of Sean Lee, Lyle Collins, and Bintel Bryant. So we got a little bit of linebacker depth back, 2 of them
Yeah,
at least.
yeah, it's good. And Justin March will give him some depth there at special teams, and Goodwin is really the special teams guy. So I feel like they feel pretty good about where they're at with special teams, with the players that they have here. So. Yeah. I'm not sure how many more moves the Cowboys may do. It could be just more of these, bottom of the barrel type of transactions that we may see here. So we'll keep an eye on see what's going on here.
I'm definitely keeping an eye on that last practice squad spot. But right now the roster is full with the 3 IR transitions and with these 3 defensive guys that we just mentioned. I mean, the roster is full, but that last practice squad position's open.
Yeah.
And
So
we did lose Joe Jackson.
Yeah, Joe Jackson
to the Cleveland.
Yeah, Joe Jackson went to the Browns, so that wasn't really a surprise. I didn't even have him making the 53. I thought it was going to be between him and Dorrance Armstrong, and sure enough, I think that's kind of how it played out. Dorrance Armstrong, I think, is there at the bottom of that list there on defensive ends. I think Dorrance Armstrong, you didn't hear too much about him or Joe Jackson, so that's that's where we're at. So we'll see what happens there with this team moving forward. But let's take another look at this practice squad, Mike. So Rondell Carter. So you're already getting a little bit of a churn here as far as your depth guys. These are players that McCarthy brought on here. So Rondell Carter, Justin Hamilton, and these are guys that they brought in under Mike McCarthy's tenure. So you're seeing the purge of this roster already happen. With letting go of some of these players that were under the Garrett administration. Little by little, you're seeing more and more of the thumbprint of Mike McCarthy on this roster, Mike.
Yeah, and Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, these were Garrett guys, so to speak. And they really came on and did their thing to make it, and hopefully they can pay off for Mike McCarthy. But they get in that special teams guy that I think Mike McCarthy had some interest with in like 2018 or something. He went to Seattle, played 170 snaps on special teams. You're going to kind of see a mixture of the Garrett era and Mike McCarthy, just because you just can't turn everybody, especially in the first year.
Yeah, that's what it is. So that's where we're at, guys. One more look here. We'll get into the comments and questions here. So this is where we're at right now, guys. This is the most current look at your practice squad. Okay, so they got a lot of their guys back that they let go, guys that they wanted to bring back, and players that wanted to come back. So it's kind of a two-way street. So I'm happy about it, man. Francis Bernard, I think, is somebody that can really, give us something, in the future as well. So great look at that, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chat box. We appreciate everybody that has joined live, everybody live in the chat box and watching live around Cowboys Nation. So, Mike, let's get into a few of these questions here, comments, and we'll get through these. Let's see what we got here, guys. Appreciate all you. Let's see what we got here, guys. Conversation here.
Yeah, a lot of fans are, happy about Bernard, and when he got cut, me and Joe were kind of, talking behind the scenes, and we were like, man, this guy was a fan favorite. Someone could pick him up. I really think the Cowboys got lucky, just because the media was giving Francis Bernard a lot of attention. That's why fans fell in love with him. I think the Cowboys got super lucky stashing him on that practice squad. But teams can still sign off practice squad too, can't they? Is that still eligible for 2020?
Yeah, they can still pick off players from your practice squad. But, like I said, the new rule is you can protect 4 of them. Every Tuesday you make that designation, and you can protect them. Now, if somebody takes a player off your practice squad, that team has to start them on their 53. That's still in place. So,
and they got to be there for at least 3-4 weeks,
something
before
they
can
that,
release
yeah.
them.
Yeah. JJ Trilla, who y'all think has a better line with the injuries, Cowboys or Eagles, Mike?
The Cowboys. Lyle Collins is really the only guy there. Cam Irving, I believe he's a seasoned vet. Now, we just got to deal with Cam Irving for 3 weeks. And, you protect yourselves with, Blake Bell there to help him. You still got Zeke that can chip, right? The Cowboys have the better offensive line because there's just one guy. The Eagles got multiple injuries there. And, with the guy that can chip like Zeke, we got Blake Bell. He could turn some ends and help Cam Irving out. We still got Zach Martin over there on the right side too. So I like it. And then obviously, Tyler from Wisconsin, the center, if something was to happen to Connor Williams or McGovern or something, we got a lot of rotational pieces. Something that the Eagles don't have on that offensive line is rotational pieces. And that's exactly what we got, is that versatility.
Yeah, no, I agree. Cowboys all the way. The Eagles are really beat up. They lost their left tackle, Dillard, to injury. He's out for the year. That's a huge loss for them. But it's going to be good for our defensive line. I think we're going to feast on these guys, and they're already beat up as it is. Wentz can't ever stay healthy himself, so knock him around a little bit. He's out of there. Jalen Hurts, as good as he is, he's still a rookie. So, they're in a little bit of a trouble there. And they cut. It seems like they blew out all of their secondary guys. They cut Rasul Douglas, I think his name is, and Sidney Jones. Yeah, he's gone. So, former decent round picks, they're all gone. So they're taking on some heavy losses there on that roster. Might they tank? I already didn't feel good about that Eagles locker room last year. I think they were already not buying into the program. And now with all these guys gone, I don't know, man. But
I heard something like next year's cap, they're like $50 to $60 million over it. So they got to do like a lot of cutting and restructuring. And, the Eagles went all in for one Super Bowl, and they probably won't win it again for another 60 years.
Yeah, I agree, man. Thank the Lord, Joe Thomas is back. Ted Gonzalez, yeah, I agree with you, man. It was kind of weird that they put him out there. I thought he was a really good backup, played well in place of Sean Lee, and I think that's who you're going to see. In place of Sean Lee, it's probably going to be Joe Thomas, not so much Gifford. I think you got to go with Joe Thomas there.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe Thomas for sure. And you look and see the 3 guys they just brought back, right? CJ Goodwin, Joe Thomas, Justin March. Those 3 guys scream special teams all day, every day. So not only is it good backup depth for your linebackers, but it's great special teams for Bones Fossil.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what else we got here, Mike. I'll let you take this one. Any word from David Irving?
No.
Yeah, David Irving is not on the Cowboys. Not even they don't own his rights or anything. He's a full blown free agent. He's out there doing his own thing with his medical, CBDs and this kind of thing. He's completely out of football. So even if he were to come back to football, it wouldn't be with the Cowboys. Like I said in the previous stream, it'd probably be with a West Coast team because he's out in California, between there and Vegas. So that train
and he still has to get
gone.
Yeah, and he still has to get reinstated by the NFL too.
Yeah. So that ship has sailed long time ago. There will be no more David Irving. No more. Let's see what else we got.
Mas.
Yeah, no mas. Broderick Johnson. I like Luther Kirk. A safety with range. Yeah, he shined there at the Shrine game. As I was watching the Shrine game, it was interesting to note that the Cowboys got basically the two MVPs of the East-West Shrine game. Luther Kirk, the safety, and Aaron Parker, the wide receiver out of Rhode Island. The Cowboys brought them both in here. So there is something to that East-West Shrine game, guys. I always, do a little report on that game every draft season. So make sure you check back on that one next year. Cowboys, they really go deep into the well with a lot of these players. So Luther Kirk, man, a rangy, pretty good guy, man. He's got a pretty good knack for the ball, Broderick. I agree with you. See what else we got here in the comments, guys. You guys are awesome. Lighting it up here.
I got MNZ GMZ. He says, hey, Joe and Mike, do you see Dallas acquiring a vet offensive tackle for Lyle Collins being on IR? What do you think, Joe?
I think they're going to go with what they have right now. That just seems like what they're going to go with. Whether it's Cam Irvin or Brandon Knight. I didn't really see any big, kind of names, on the waiver wire, but that could change. We'll see what happens there. Maybe they trade for somebody, but yeah, the Lyle Collins issue. You're hearing a little bit of conflicting reports. I think it's a little bit of the two. Conditioning. A major one came in. I've read around that he came in pretty overweight. Not 5 or 10 pounds, but 15 to 20 pounds. That's not good.
Good.
The car wreck. Some people want to say that the hip was a car wreck, but you got to remember Lyle was not practicing prior to the car wreck, so. It could be a combination of the both, but still, definitely the first part of him being out of shape, out of condition, that's definitely true. Is his hip a part of being overweight and carrying too much weight, or is it the minor car accident? We don't know, but either way, man, it's just not a good look for a guy that just got a big contract. Everybody else showed up in shape, and he didn't, Mike. So, Robert,
that's
Radford,
a shame,
what do you
man.
really think about that?
Yeah, Robbie, check this out. It's a shame. The guy just got the bag. All these players are coming in here in shape. Dak Prescott built a whole 50-yard football field in his backyard, because he takes the job seriously. Lyle Collins is going to Wendy's getting spicy nuggets and double baconators and trying to become a defensive tackle that, we've been screaming for. And it's not paying off. It's not a good look, especially after you get the bag.
Yeah. And we're not trying to bag on the guy, but we're not going to give him a pass either. I mean, it is what it is. We're going to call you out if it warrants it, and in this case, it definitely does. You definitely can't keep your head in the ground. Let's see what else we got here. The Lunatic, you got a question here. What is your biggest week one worry on both sides of the ball?
My offensive line, honestly, if I'm being serious. And maybe tight end, if the tight ends really can't, Dalton Schultz, can he block? Blake Jarwin, can he block? Can we get Zeke and Pollard, that lightning and thunder? Can we get those guys going? Offensive line, tight end, the blocking schemes is for me, and the defense, obviously, linebacker, Jalen Smith, that knee, that always scares me. Leighton Vander Esch's neck, and then we got Joe Thomas. So the linebacker position really scares me, and the offensive line, tight end positions on offense. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, but by far, offensive line is the number one thing for me. It's an area that you can't. It's the weakness of this team. If you start losing Tyron, if you lose Lyle, or a combination of the both, It will. It'll hurt this team. It just will. You don't have the best of depth, but no team around the league really has. That's why these guys are backups. So you'll get that backup quality play for sure. You're gonna get false starts. You're gonna get beat by, bull rushes, speed rushes. The types of players that Lyle and Tyron Smith are pretty good at handling. The backups, they won't be able to do that as well. That's why they're backups. So it's it will it'll hurt you a bit. It definitely will. So offensive line for sure, number one, and linebacker depth, I think is the other one that kind of scares me a bit. Safety, I feel like at the end of the year, however this season shapes up, safety is going to be atop the off-season needs. Safety, draft or free agency. They got to stop messing with it, Mike. It seems like we're just throwing the alternating names that keep coming in through the revolving door, Mike.
Yeah, and I mean, do you think they'll pull the trigger on it? I mean, Donovan Wilson, what is he, like a 6th-round pick or something? I mean, they really haven't drafted anybody. I think they signed like 9 free safety or strong safeties or just safeties in general, since Darren Woodson left, and none of those guys are even on this team or never really even contributed, to that. They need to quit, and that's not people can scream Earl Thomas all day. That doesn't make it the answer. But is that still a 1-year Band-Aid?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so they just got to go draft him or develop Donovan Wilson. They got to give somebody the keys and quit Band-Aiding, because Earl Thomas, that's another Band-Aid.
Yeah, no, it really is. Even if it's a 1 or even a 2-year, it's still a bridge player. I like to call these guys bridge players, right? So, yeah, could it be Donovan Wilson? If it is, go ahead and give him the snaps. Start him over Darian Thompson. If that's what it is, let's get a look. At least we'll find out. So, if anything, we'll find out this season as the season progresses what safety is going to be for us.
Yeah.
Great question there, the lunatic. As always, appreciate you, brother.
You guys always ask some great questions.
Yeah. Here we go, Mike. This comes from Michael. Do you see Brandon Carr getting any playing time this year?
I think so. I think so. I mean, and again, I just talked about the Band-Aid, right? But he could play corner, he could play strong safety. So it's going to be interesting if he does. But I think he can see some type of playing time.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think how they want to use him is kind of like a Charles Woodson, how McCarthy used Woodson up there at Green Bay. So you kind of make that transition. Maybe you don't have as much speed anymore, so you can put him at the safety position. So we'll see, man. And he does give you the flex to play cornerback. So I think it's a really good move bringing him in here. Will he play this year? I would be surprised if he didn't. So I think at some point they'll bring him in here.
I think you'll see him.
What about trading for Malik Hooker from the Colts, I believe, right? Hooker's with the Colts. I don't see them doing that, Mike. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. What kind of capital is he going to get? I mean, the guy was a 2017 first-round pick, 15 overall. So you're still going to be paying a hefty price. So he's got 7 interceptions in his career. I don't know. It's going to be pretty interesting there, but what kind of draft capital are you looking at to give up? Because if you're going to just build, give away draft picks for a player, then I don't know. It's not good for the future of the Cowboys there. And if he hits free agency, then you don't have to trade for him. You could try to pursue him then, if the Cowboys really want him. But there's no need to give draft capital right now.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't see that happening. Eberflus is the DC over there, former Cowboys coach. I'm pretty sure that he knows what it is not to have a solid safety. And Hooker to me is pretty good, man. I mean, he's not great. He's not bad. I think he's right there, and he's good, right? So I wouldn't, if I were Eberflus, I wouldn't give him up.
Here you
Sam Jones
go,
has
Joe. I got a question for you here. Says, has Earl Thomas ever been injured? I don't understand passing on a great Pro Bowler just because of a bad attitude. What do you think there, Joe?
Yeah. No, he's the last couple of years he's been dinged up. You know, we looked at his stats here. You know, he missed a pretty good chunk of the season a few seasons back. Last year he missed a few games, so definitely after he left Seattle and there towards the end of Seattle there was a little bit of a fall off as far as health, but well, that's nothing new. You know, Earl Thomas has always had little knickknacks of that nature. You know, hamstring, and these kinds of things. So, you
He
know,
broke
it's
his leg
definitely
twice in a row, didn't he?
yeah. He's hurt his leg, so he's had some physical issues. So you know, you couple that with what you're hearing around the league. So you know, there is definitely something to that. Let's see what else we got in here, guys. Thanks for the comments in here. Nick White, I'm hearing Jordan Lewis trade talks. Any takes? If we did, what would we bring for depth? I haven't heard anything about Jordan Lewis being traded or anything. And honestly, why would they do that? I mean, we're already kind of talking about being kind of a little bit thin there at cornerback, and they're adding all these guys. For me, I wouldn't want to move him right now, Mike. Would you?
No, I don't think you could trade a hurt player.
Yeah, he's got to pass he would have to pass the physical from the other
Opposing
team, right? The opposing team. So yeah, that trade stuff with Jordan Lewis is something that's always going to linger. You know, people are always trying to ship him off, yet they like when he shows up and gets the turnovers and that kind of thing. So we need some consistency from some of the fans on Jordan Lewis. Do you love him? Do you hate him? Do you want to get rid of him? What do you guys want to do? Let us
He's
know
a
in the
dog,
comments.
man. He's definitely
Yeah,
a dog.
yeah, he's a dog for sure. Appreciate the question, Nick. But that's where I'm at with him. Mike, here you go for the lunatic. Will it be Cam Irvin at right tackle simply because of the money we gave him, or do you think he can do the job for the first 3 weeks?
Both. You brought him in here to do the job if something was to happen. It's both, and you know he's been getting those reps there. You know, especially when Mitch Hyatt went down. You know, Cam Irvin has been getting all those reps, and it's both money and that he has experience position. You know, it ain't like you're moving Chaz Green 5 different positions and then moving back to one and expect them not to allow your quarterback to get sacked 6 times. So you know that's the position that he likes. That's the position that he knows, and I think he can hold down the fort for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I think we'll know pretty soon. You know, and like I said yesterday, guys, if they find out that he is just awful and not good, he's not gonna be like Garrett and leave him in there for the whole game. Like they did with Chaz Green, they will pull him. Mike McCarthy will pull him and put somebody else in his place. So we'll find out. We'll find out game one for sure, and that's a good thing. You know, if you find out that man, this guy just stinks, go ahead and start looking around. You know, either move Brandon Knight there. Maybe you take a look at somebody else within the team, or you go grab a player off somebody else's roster. But that's a premium position. You know, teams aren't going to give up right tackles easily. You know, that is a very premium position nowadays. You know, a lot of the pass rush still does come from the blind side, but now in today's NFL, you got to have a just as competent right tackle as you do a left tackle. So, yeah, it's hard to find these guys. That's why they go high in the draft. You know, these tackles, they go high for a reason.
Yeah,
Great
and
question.
then like I said before, you know, you got Blake Bell, Zeke that can chip. You know, if Cam Irvin's struggling some type of way, you know, you can definitely get him help over there. Maybe get some double team blocks going.
Okay. Theodore Garcia, I hope they bring back Parker, Johnson, Bernard, Rondo, Carter. Well, yeah, we did talk about that earlier, Theodoro. So let me see if we still got that. I'll bring it up here in a second. So just
we got Parker, we got Johnson, we got Bernard, and I think we did get Carter.
Yeah, so here's if you guys are just now joining the stream, this is who we got here for practice squad, guys. So Tedora, we did bring him back. You know, we got Francis Bernard, obviously, Aaron Parker, John Ray Johnson, and Rondell Carr. All of them are there. So you're good to go, my G. We got them all in there, everybody.
Garcia is scouting those players. Cowboys listening to him.
Yeah, well, that's where we go, man. Ted Gonzalez, give me Brandon Knight over the other options. Yeah, you know, maybe they do go with Brandon Knight. You know, we'll see. We'll see what they do. But yeah, you did pay the guy the money. You got to find out, right?
We got a whole another week, Joe. A whole another week.
Anything can change, and I'm sure that the roster will continue to change a bit. So, we'll see how it goes, man. Let's see what other questions we got in here. Roberto Ibarra, appreciate the donation, brother. We need Earl Thompson not cutting it. So, yeah, this will be something that's going to follow the Cowboys the whole season. You know, maybe they revisit, you know, making a move in the bye week. But
well, hold on. How is Thompson not cutting it? We haven't even seen him. And Thompson pushed out HaHa Clinton-Dix. You know, Gerald McCoy, HaHa Clinton-Dix was our first splash in free agency, right? And, you know, HaHa Clinton-Dix was given the keys. Thompson said, pretty much stole his car. And, you know, HaHa Clinton-Dix ain't on the team. Thompson is at the starting position right now. So I don't know how Thompson isn't cutting it, Joe. I honestly don't. But thanks for the donation, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say he's not cutting it, but you know, it is. I think from fans' point of view, it's like, man, really, this guy's gonna be the starter. I mean, he's another bridge player, so I can definitely feel the frustrations with the fans on that. You know, Clinton Dix, former first-round pick, Darian Thompson beat him out, so that's a little bit of a revelation there. But you know, it's more of the same, Mike. You know, every year, you know, we're having this revolving door. Jeff Heath, you know, they didn't know what to do with Byron Jones. He played safety at one time. Ken Hamlin, Ahmad Dixon. It's just a long list of players coming in and out of here. But appreciate the question, Roberto. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
How many games do you have? This comes from Joshua McKeever. How many games do you have Dallas winning? I have 11. That's what he says.
I got 16. Plus playoffs. Plus a Lombardi.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think the minimum, the very, very minimum is 11. I said 14-2 in our very pre-season, pre-everything discussion, Mike. Two losses
real early.
Because this team is loaded, and that was before we went through all of camp and everything, before we even added some of these players that we have now. So, I mean, I still feel really good about this team. You know, it's high expectations, which it should be. I think the threshold, though, is 11. 11-5, 12-4, 13-3 is definitely within realistic expectations as well. I would say anything less than that, though, something really bad would have happened to the Cowboys if they come in here and put a 9-7 or 10-6 season together, Mike.
Yeah, I think it is disappointing because when Mike McCarthy first got hired, my mindset was, you know, probably 9-7, 10. This was before I even seen a schedule, right? Probably 9-7, 10-6. You know, get those Mike McCarthy pieces in here. But the moves they're making, right? Everson Griffin, Alden Smith, you know, signing all these guys. You know, Dak Prescott getting that franchise tag signing coming back. I think it's an all-in move to go out there and go do something. And if any year that America's been down, America's team can cheer it up by winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal, man. That quest for 6, the 6th ring, the 6th Lombardi, whatever you want to call it. It happens now. So, high expectations, man. Uncle Charles, maybe. My worry is the offensive line. Yeah, that definitely is a bit of a concern, you know.
Yeah,
it definitely is. And it almost seems like this is something that we're having a discussion about pretty recently, right? You know, We have concerns at left guard with Connor Williams. You know, Frederick is retired. Now you're getting in Joe Looney full time. He's done it before, but still, it's not Frederick. Lyle Collins with the back, hamstrings. Lyle Collins out of shape, hip. So
Tyron Smith's back injuries.
Yeah, so right now, man, it's like Zach Martin and everybody else has a little bit of something going on, you know, which, you know, it's understandable, right? I mean, these players play banged up every week, but it's you're hearing a little bit more of it every year. So I wonder if some point they start to reinvesting in the offensive line, you know, for the future. I wonder if we're right around the corner for that. In another year or two, we'll see what they do, man. I know for 2021, the tackle depth is really good. So for 2021, if you want to get you somebody to develop within a year or two, that would be the draft class to do it, you know. So that'll be something that might come into play at the draft. So
that's a great point because they restructured Tyron Smith's contract, you know, to make that last year optional. So that's a really good point.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go, Dallas Schwartz. Do you feel there's a chance Dak really doesn't want a long-term deal with the boys, and that's why he didn't sign before the tag had to be put on? If so, where do you see him going to? No, I don't think that's the case. That seems more of a conspiracy theory type of deal. I think he wants to be here, man. You know, look at the talent. What quarterback would want to leave this talent? You know, that person would have to get their head checked. So for me, I think it just came down to the agent and the Cowboys not figuring it out. And we heard about this towards the end here that Dak Prescott actually stepped in here at the very last minute to try to get things going, but it was too late. So some miscommunication there, man. Just not good. So yeah, and remember, the Cowboys do have the opportunity to franchise tag him yet again, but that number is going to balloon up some more. We saw Deshaun Watson sign a contract that's going to pay him close to $39 million a year. So that threshold, man, it's going up. Somebody mentioned to me they still want to pay Prescott 35, 37 million. That's not going to happen. The number has gone up, you know, and if it's just fans just not agreeing with the price tag, that's what the market is, you know. Unfortunately, that's what it is. That's what the market is. So, would you, if you were an employee and you were like, this is the market for what I do in the industry? Let's say you're a manager, right? And you see that the market value of the manager of what you're doing is getting $100K a year, right? And somebody wants to pay you below that, you're not going to take that deal, right? You're going to want to negotiate or do something. So, yeah, it's a tough deal, man. Breaking down numbers like that, it's a tough deal. But the Cowboys, man, they're kind of putting themselves in a little bit of a corner, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I know what you mean. That's a great point. You echoed everything I would have said. So, yeah, good point.
Let's try to get through a little bit more of these comments and questions here, guys. Appreciate it. Everybody that has joined in here live, do appreciate that very much. Let's see.
It don't even feel like an hour's been going by. It's been fun.
Yeah. Yeah, great comments, guys. Appreciate all you guys. Trying to scroll through here. Here we go here. The wet blanket, Kerry Sanders. Cowboys are 8-8 until proven otherwise. I don't know, man. Hey, that's not a good prediction, man.
Where do you really?
Yeah, I don't know.
First, 8-8. I mean, you bring in a coach that has skins on the wall. You bring in probably one of the best special team coaches. Mike Nolan's figuring things out over there on defense, a 3-4-4-3 hybrid, right? You brought in the pieces that you brought in, one of the best wide receiver prospects in the draft. Then you go in and get a good corner like Trayvon. I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, no, I don't either. That no, if Garrett were still here, yeah, I could say yeah, probably, but yeah, not with McCarthy in here. There's no way. I mean, like I said, if you lose 8 games with this roster with this coach, something terribly bad had to have happened. You know, you lost Zeke, you lost Dak, or Gallup or Zach Martin. Something terrible must have happened. So I don't want to go down that road. Expectations are high, though, man. Expectations are high.
Always high, every year. If you're not trying to win a Super Bowl, as Mike McCarthy says, what are you doing in this business?
Yeah, that's what it is. And 8-8, that's definitely not in Mike McCarthy's DNA. Obviously he does have a few seasons where they weren't the best of seasons, but I mean every coach will have that on their resume, coaching as long as they have with a particular team. So you can't really look at those numbers, but you can look at the number of times he was in the conference championship. That's pretty good. I mean, you gotta love that. You just get this team to the conference championship game and let the players get you over the hump, man. So he has that capability. Zach Martin, best player in Cowboys. Yeah, I agree, Joey. That's my number one guy, man. I love Zach Martin. Guy's a heck of a player, dude.
We're so lucky to have him. We could have had Johnny Manziel.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine?
I don't
That
want to
really
imagine.
that would have set the team back like 5 years, man. Just it's bad. Like some of these teams that draft really bad like that, like it does. Like it'll set you back some years. So
Yeah, and just to think, how Zach Martin, the Cowboys talk, or everyone talks about Dak Prescott falling in our lap. Zach Martin kind of fell in our lap because the Cowboys were going to draft Ryan Shazier there, and the Steelers got him at 15. The Cowboys already had the card ready to go for Ryan Shazier. Then that's when Jerry Jones got that thought of, okay, let's go get Manziel. That's when Stephen Jones kicked him under the table and said, no, we're getting Zach Martin. So Zach Martin kind of fell into our lap.
yeah, that was a great one there. Normally, I think the concern of the team was offensive line with uncertainty at left guard, center, right tackle for the first 3 games, and depth. Yeah, definitely. So, but left guard, Connor Williams, he's gotten a bulk of the snaps, so there wasn't really a true battle there between him and Connor McGovern. So, same thing with Joe Looney. But you did start to see more snaps for Tyler Biadasz down the stretch. So I feel good about the depth there at center. I think that if something did happen to Looney, Tyler Biadasz could step in there and earn his bones, as I say. Now, the right tackle depth, yeah. The swing tackle depth definitely is a concern. Depth at guard I think is good because, like I said, you have Connor McGovern in there. I think he's pretty solid. And then you have some position flex with even Cam Irvin if you need to go use him as a guard. So, but tackle, a little bit of a question mark. I agree with you there, Norm, for sure. See what else we got here in the comment box. Hey, Mike, this comes from Jose.
Yo.
So, who will take that last place in the practice squad? We got one opening left. Who might take that spot, you think?
It's really hard to say. I mean, it could be anybody, really any position. They only got one linebacker at the practice squad position, so I won't give you a name because I'll be finding a needle in a haystack. But I can give you a position. I think it would be linebacker.
No, I think you hit it right on the head, man. I would go linebacker because you're pretty deep at wide receiver. They got a whole bunch of DBs
Corners.
like we just talked about. Maybe another tackle, but I mean they kept Terrence Steele on the 53, which that to me was one of the big surprises for the 53, Terrence Steele. So yeah, man, I would probably say linebacker, man. If you can find yourself another linebacker, because then you have the health of some of these guys too, like Luke Gifford, and these players. So I wouldn't mind seeing them go a little bit deeper there at linebacker myself. And I know they do have Ladarius Hamilton listed as a linebacker, but it's more of an outside linebacker, stand-up defensive end type of guy. That's more what Ladarius Hamilton is. He isn't going to be like a middle linebacker, like in the sense of that type of linebacker, a 4-3 linebacker. So interesting take there. Let's see what else we got in here. Charles Mabry. Do you think we need a 55-man roster instead of 53. Yeah. No, it would be good if it was the true 55, but I guess the way that they're wording it, it's just like the semantics of it. So it's a 53, and then you can add those two players, which makes it a 55. So, it's a little bit of give and take. I think where they really improved upon were the practice squad rules. I think that's really what is really going to help out teams moving forward too. You can legitimately develop players, even vets. You can carry vets on the practice squad now. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a really cool thing there. The lunatic. How often do you think we will challenge Rams cornerback Jalen Ramsey? That's a great question.
You can't cover them all.
Yeah, it's going to be more about where do they line up Jalen Ramsey, I think, because you can't cover all these guys. You can't cover all of our weapons, so
you don't want to force anything. You got to hit the open man. That's how you win games. You force things, turnovers happen, you put your defense in a bad spot. If you don't got to challenge him, don't challenge him. I mean, if he's looking weak out there, definitely expose him, but no need to do all that.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head, Mike. I agree with that 100% because it's like you don't want to go after somebody just to go after them. If the opportunity's there, if he's going to shadow Amari Cooper, the whole game, Cooper will get his openings. So Jalen Ramsey, as good as he is, can he keep up with a route runner like Amari Cooper throughout the whole game? So. It's gonna be a big game, Definitely gonna be a big game. So I'm excited about it, and I think this team has a legitimate chance of taking home the victory.
And we'll talk about that on the Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a Tuesday review of that game coming up, guys. So make sure you check back on the Frisco Report on Tuesday. Mike and I will break down the keys to victory. We'll talk
Keys
about
to victory's back.
Talk about defense. We'll break down the Rams players, who to look at, what their weaknesses are. We'll do a deep dive on that game there. That'll be on Tuesday. We'll dedicate that show to that and any other breaking news of the day. But I think that's all we got right now, Mike. We did a quick look. Let's take another quick look at the practice squad for anybody that missed it. This is the practice squad, guys. If any of you guys joined late, here we go. We're at 15 practice squad players. Isaac Alarcon, he's your bonus guy, so he doesn't count as the 16. He's a 17. So right now we're sitting at 15. Mine. So we do have the one slot open, but this is where we're at, guys. We got our boy back, Francis Bernard. Let's see if he gets activated. Maybe they put. Justin March on the practice squad. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts here to go. We still got a pretty good amount of days till we get to game day. But, we'll keep an eye on that injury report. Let's see. Let's keep an eye on Amari Cooper. Is he going to practice? Is it the foot rearing its ugly head again, like we talked about? This is an injury that he's had going all the way back to college, his rookie season. Plantar fasciitis, this type of deal. So, we'll keep an eye on that there. Mike, let these guys know where they can find you if they haven't already.
Yeah, right there on Twitter. Joe has it _Cowboys Corner on Twitter and Cowboys Corner right here on Facebook. If you have a hard time finding it, just go to Cowboys Corner, click on the link there, and check out the website www.thefriscoreport.com for all the latest and greatest. Joe has a great website up there.
Good plug to the site, guys. Make sure you guys do check that out. We have all the previous draft classes going all the way back to 2003 when I started this deal. So that's the Parcell draft classes, Wade Phillips, Garrett, and now our boy Mike McCarthy. So check that out, guys. The schedule's out there as well. If you need to get a refresher on the schedule, we have it there on the podcast website, thefriscoreport.com. So go check that out, guys. But that's all we have right now, guys. We will be back on Tuesday for the Frisco Report. to talk Rams, and football is here, guys. Football is right here. I mean, it seemed like the longest off season, but here we are, man. We made it, so it's great,
I cannot wait to kick off the show on Tuesday. I cannot wait.
Football's in there, guys. Appreciate everybody that joined us live, everybody that watches this on the replay. Make sure you guys hit like on this video on your way out, and we'll catch you for the next video, guys. Peace.